Hello, dear friends. Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. In the never-ending flood and flow of new fragrances, a new contender has entered the ring. Bad Boy Cobalt. Or I guess it's technically Carolina Herrera Bad Boy Cobalt Eau de Parfum Electrique. Just man. All right. So this is obviously the newest release in the Bad Boy line, and it's kind of interesting. I don't know exactly what to expect. It's cobalt, so ostensibly blue, so you would think it's going to have some sort of mass appeal versatility to it, you know, to kind of put it in that blue spectrum of fragrances. But then when you look at the note breakdown, it's got notes like truffle and black plum, which I don't know about you, but when I see truffle, I don't immediately think of things like Bleu de Chanel. Not that I'm expecting this to smell like Bleu de Chanel, but you know what I mean. So like always, I'm gonna go ahead and crack this open, show you guys the presentation sprayed on, and let you know what my initial impressions are, whether I think it's worth checking out or not. So let's open it up. Bad Boy was not a line that was immediately greeted with open arms and love and admiration from all the people in the fragrance world. They looked at it and saw that cheesy lightning bolt bottle, or maybe some people would say awesome lightning bolt bottle, and they thought to themselves, no thanks. Kind of like with Paco Rabanne's releases, you know, Invictus, 1 Million, Phantom. A lot of times that first impression when you see the bottle just sets in some people's heads. There's no way I will allow myself to like that, even if I actually do like it. But usually as time goes on and people get used to seeing that bottle design, that initial hatred steps back a little bit. So let's go ahead and open this up. Let's take a look at this bad boy. That's a terrible pun. And I have to banish the cellophane once again to the Shadow Realm. Now, ladies and gentlemen, that is not how you banish cellophane to the Shadow Realm. That's the incorrect way. If I could get an instant replay of that. Don't worry. It's fine. Didn't sound good though, I'll tell you that much. Let's go ahead and check out this box. On the front, you have the name of the house, name of the fragrance, size and concentration, Carolina Herrera logo up top. Little information on the back of the box. And on the bottom, you have your ingredients and your batch code. Batch code here is 12921. And here we have the bottle. I like the gradient coloration here, darker toward the bottom, lighter up toward the top. Herrera logo on the front where the atomizer is. The stand is black in coloration this time. And on the bottom, you have your batch code. Well, that was all super fun. Let's go ahead and spray this on. Yeah, it's actually pretty sweet, pretty fresh, and yeah, blue in a way. Initially, it was a whole lot of fresh lavender and little bits of pink pepper, not too much fruit, but now that it's settling on my skin, I'm starting to pick up that black plum. And it is a little bit different, you know, it's not your typical citrus, it's not grapefruit or bergamot or mandarin orange or lemon or anything like that. It's a little bit closer to like a sweet apple note if you removed a touch of the crispness of the note. When you hear black plum, you probably think of something that's going to be very, you know, heavy and sticky sweet, but it's not really that. It's really pleasant, really fresh, comes across very easy to wear, going to be a good springtime and summertime fragrance smells like. Not what I would have thought of when I look at that note breakdown, but I am interested to see how this changes as it dries down. Because I've got to think that truffle and those woody notes in the base are going to make themselves known eventually. Because otherwise the truffle is just there for marketing, which is a really weird way to market a fresh fragrance.
Try my new freshie. It smells like truffle, like earthy mushroom. Yeah, try it. It's going to be great for summer, I promise.
Like, that doesn't have a great ring to it. It is switching up a bit. That freshness from the opening, that lavender, that pink pepper, that is fading away pretty fast, actually. And it is getting a little bit sweeter. So that freshness is kind of trading off a little bit with sweetness. It's starting to smell a little bit more unique as it dries down. The opening is fine, but it's something that I've smelled a number of times in different forms. When you smell fresh lavender with kind of a fruity pop and a bit of fresh spice, it's not really the most unique thing on earth. It smells good for sure, like I said before, but not hyper unique. Now it's starting to take a turn a little bit, go its own path. I like it. I like it more now. That plum is differentiating itself much more now. In the opening, I said that it reminded me almost of, well, with the similarity to the way that apple is used, but with less crispness. But now it's definitely taking a different turn, very far away from that. This is surprisingly pretty nice. I like this. I'm gonna let this dry down. Go ask the wife about it. I'll be right back to wrap everything up and let you know how it changed. Be right back. And I'm back. So I gotta say, as Cobalt dries down, it does change a lot from the opening. My wife loved the opening of Cobalt, loved it, said it smelled awesome. Dry down, she wasn't as keen on. Didn't hate it, but wasn't in love with it. So this one swings really widely. When you first spray it on, it's very fresh, it's got a good amount of sweetness, and then as it dries, it gets darker, the sweetness changes and becomes more of that deep, slightly sticky sweetness. And when the truffle finally comes out and makes itself known with that bit of woodiness there, it's almost like a completely different fragrance from when you first sprayed it on. So it's interesting. It doesn't really smell like anything else that I can immediately point to. In the initial opening, you could say, oh yeah, it's a little similar to a few different fragrances. Once it dries down, this is its own thing. So that's really cool. If nothing else, at least Herrera did something here that isn't directly lifting what somebody else did. Now, if you really stretch it, in the opening or maybe the mid, you could pick out one or two things in here and say, oh, that's a little bit similar to something else that I've smelled before. But as a total package, this is pretty unique. I do have to agree with my wife that the opening and the mid is better than the dry down, just as far as the appeal of the smell goes. Not that I hate the dry down or dislike it, but I think that for a summertime scent, springtime scent, maybe that truffle and the base isn't how I want to smell for the longest time of the scent. Because as we all know, the dry down is the part that lasts the longest. But I don't dislike it. And I think it is the kind of fragrance that could grow on me more as time goes. That dry down could grow on me to the point that I really enjoy it because it is quite a bit different than most of the other blue style fragrances out there. And with the fragrances that I have smelled so far this year, the new ones, this is one of the better ones. I like the bottle, I like the presentation, the lightning bolt at this point is whatever. I like the gradient, I think it looks cool. The atomizer works well. It held up to a nasty fall, so I gotta give it credit for that. Overall, it's good. I like this. Nice fragrance. I like that black plum. It's interesting to get a different kind of fruity twist in the opening instead of the typical stuff that I talked about before, the apple, the bergamot, the grapefruit, all that. And I really like that they went outside of most people's comfort zones with the truffle and the dry down. Yes, it's a much more accessible, much more reined in truffle note, but still, you can pick up that little nuance, that bit of earth in there, and I like what they did. So there we go, Herrera Bad Boy Cobalt. On the whole, I like it. As a line, I think Bad Boy's kind of coming into its own here. They're pushing boundaries ever so slightly. They're not pushing them a crazy amount, but you look at what they've done with this one and Le Parfum, and they are switching things up. It's outside the norm a little bit, and it's making me more excited for fragrances to come in the line down the road. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. If you smelled this one, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Thank you for hanging with me. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys later.